Welcome in sim racing fans. Evolution Racing Network is on the air from Las Vegas Motor Speedway with the 3-Wide Racing eSports League. Welcome into the booth, everybody. Alongside Michael Sheffield, I'm Steve Kerpel. And Mike, let's talk about it. I mean, it's the AJ DiMarzio show once again. Last week, Watkins Glen bringing home another win, which brings his win total up to 5 on the year. Can anybody stop this guy?
Guys probably knows who I'm talking about, and hopefully things turn out well for him tonight.
Yeah, we're not even going to go there. We've tried doing that earlier in the season. Hasn't panned out. Let's take a look at what we got on tap tonight. Out there on the track, we're looking at 65-degree air temp, going to give us 67 out there on the track. So, cool track, mile and a half. About 7 miles an hour wind shouldn't really be a factor. So, Mike, I mean, the grip should be at a premium out there for these guys. We're going to go around for 80 laps, and these guys are going to have 3 extra sets of tires.
Yeah, 80 laps here. Fuel window, I'm going to say around 60, 65. So they're going to at least have to do one stop. Pit strategy may come into play here. All depends how, it goes green flag the entire way. You should see one stop here. Tire wear over a long run here, you will notice a difference. Draft will play a key factor in the early part of the race, and if anybody can break that draft, or somebody might save a little tire and try to start catching up towards the front here. But usually you're going to see some pack racing in the early runs here.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I mean, me and you, Mike, have run personally a ton of races here at Vegas in these Camping World trucks, and tire wear is pretty much going to be everything. Stay in the draft, save your tires, and if we get an opportunity at a green flag pit run, being able to hit that pit stop, maybe undercutting your pit by a couple laps, will definitely help you be up there in the front when it comes down to the end.
Yeah, it'll help you. And another thing, key point you hit on is pit lane. The guy that can get on and off pit lane, have a good stop, capitalize on pit road speed on both ends without speeding. The best pit stop, as far as the total time, will definitely show here.
Absolutely, as these guys are going to flip on over to qualifying any moment here. And, Mike, let's talk about it. How important is it to start on the pole or start up in the front?
The start in the front row here would be a key factor, especially as I mentioned, draft early. And you can start pole, you'll be on that inside lane. You'll have the preferred line going to 1 and 2. Should clear on the backstretch, maybe going into 3 and 4. It's going to be tight the first couple laps, but you definitely want to be probably top 4, top 5 here. Once things get single file, it's less trucks you're going to have to try to fight if you're trying to work your way to the front.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take a look. Mike Average, league owner right now. What is up to speed lap, and I think we should see guys pretty much throw that first lap away, get heat in the tires, and go out and put down a good second lap, and try to start up front. I mean, we know that if you start up front and you could stay up front, chances are, as long as you could stay out of trouble, you're going to finish up front.
Yeah, and this track, eventually over time, over a long run, as I mentioned before, single file, you're still going to see trucks kind of split up here. But looking at his lap, as you mentioned, first lap, you're trying to set a good time, but you're not killing the truck because, like we all know, green tires, especially carrying these high speeds in these corners, you can easily get it loose in 1 and 2, and especially if you run it too low on the exit of 3 and 4, that transition where pit lane comes in. The rear end can come around really easily in the early runnings on these trucks.
Yeah, absolutely. As we've got AJ DiMarzio currently your pole sitter. We'll take a look at him right now. And at number 5, DiMarzio Gears Chevy Silverado, as he's working his second lap right now. And looks like That was the second lap, so he'll lay down a 30.77, and boy, we got a pretty much just about match this time. Jonathan Aropolo up there with a 30.77 as well.
Yeah, this is gonna come down to .001. It looks like 1 or 2 here is a difference, and that's, you're gonna see a lot of tight times here. As first to fifth right now in qualifying is separated by 1/10 of a second, so you're gonna see a lot tighter times here by the end of qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's right now. That's where they're holding off. We got a couple of guys out on the track. We'll try to get to as many as we can. Ernest King looking pretty good right now, slotting in seventh right now with a 30.91 as he comes out of turn number 4. Let's see what he could do on that second lap, and that's gonna bump him up a little bit to ninth. Nick Rader was able to lay down a 30.85, so he's currently sitting in fourth. But we'll see what happens when we drop the green flag on this thing, guys. But don't go anywhere. We're going to take a pause to honor our nation's colors in the singing of our national anthem. And when we come back, your starting lineup. Stay with us.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome back in, sim racing fans. Las Vegas Motor Speedway is the spot for tonight's race here, 3 Wide Racing Esports League. And we thank you for joining us here tonight. And these guys are going to get gridded on up, and we will get things cranking off here. And we will see, what these guys could do out here on track tonight. So let's get right into your starting lineup tonight. On the pole with a 37.65 to 10, Jonathan Aropolo. On his outside will be 5-time race winner this season, AJ DeMarzo. Row number 2, see William George in the 9. On his outside of Nick Rader in the 88. Row number 3, William Roberts in the 13, and Caleb Ellsworth in the 66 on his outside. And starting 7th, we'll have Mike Everidge in the 82. Mike, take us the rest of the way.
Starting 8th, Andrew Hefner in the number 46. The number 64, David Connell, will start 9th. George Rincon in the number 28 machine will be 10th. Ernest King will be starting 11th. Robert Dupont in the number 7 will be starting 12th. Robert McMillan in the number 8 will be starting 13th. And Peter Harbour in the number 444 will be starting 14th.
And that's your starting lineup here for tonight. We mentioned that we will be going 80 laps around this thing, Mike, and I mean with 14 trucks, I mean it seems like a small field, but around this mile and a half, I think it's actually a really good number, and we should be in for some pretty good racing tonight.
Yeah, it should be some good racing. As we mentioned, you're going to see draft early. then maybe some single file, and depending on how pit strategies play out. As you mentioned, somebody may come in and undercut. Somebody may wait. Hoping that they can hold on, maybe try to save a little bit of fuel here. I'm just curious to see how this is going to play out tonight. Looks like we're coming through 3 and 4 now.
Yeah, we sure are. And, as we come out of the turn, that iRacing.com safety car will pull off, and it's going to be the 10 of Jonathan Aropolo, guy we haven't really seen, up in the front. He's gonna lead them on down here as these guys are coming out of turn number 4. Pace car is going to make a hard left turn on the pit road. Hang on, folks. 80 laps, Las Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas as the green flag is out and we are underway.
Yeah, Jonathan Aropolo with the start there. Looks like AJ DiMarzio got a little better restart here as they head down into 1 and 2. Advantage is going to be Aropolo here on the inside, but that outside lane with AJ DiMarzio, Nick Radar is coming to the bottom here. He's going to challenge now for the second position, try to work himself up to the lead as they go into 3 and 4.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick Rader. He wants you want it bad enough, you get it. As we'll ride on board with him as they come out of turn 4, and Nick Rader, that number 88 Budweiser Chevy Silverado, he's going to lead the first lap here, Mike.
Yeah, a little trouble there for AJ DiMarzio coming through 3 and 4. Got a little low, kind of close to the apron there. Truck got sideways. We talked about earlier, really low line there on 3 and 4. This early in the run can really cause some trouble with the stabilization of the truck in the rear.
Absolutely. He's able to get it. He'll lose 2 spots. He dropped back to 4th, but he's able to get the truck back under him. As we take a look at these guys are really making headway. We got William Roberts making a move for second. He's going to try to challenge Nick Rader for the lead, but he tucks in behind him as they come in turns 1.
Yeah, everybody's trying to get what they can right now. I was curious to see if these top 3 right here would run a draft together really well and try to pull away from the rest of the field, but they're still fighting amongst the 3 now. Everybody's trying to get every position they can this early in the running, because that lead car is going to have that clean air here, and the draft is going to be a major factor for about 15-20 laps.
Yeah, it sure is, and I'm glad you mentioned that, and I'm really surprised that we don't really see it. Try to with these top 3 guys just form a big chain and try to pull away from the second pack. As you see the 13 William Roberts looking on the inside as they come down into turns 3.
Yeah, William Roberts with some good momentum from 3rd place finish last week at Watkins Glen. Trying to get out to an early jump here. He's going to take the lead. Looks like the battle now is going to be for second between Jonathan Aropolo and Nick Rader. And here comes AJ DiMarzio back up towards the front. So you got the top 4, the front 4 trucks battling for position right now.
Yeah, they're battling. They're probably battling a little more harder than I kind of thought they would, especially right out of the gates, 5 laps into this thing. But, we've seen as well, big moment from Jonathan Aropolo, gets below the apron, slides up the track, and almost collects the 88 Radar as they're 3 wide coming down to the front stretch.
Yeah, and seeing that battle up the front, looking back at the 66 of Ellsworth, William George and Mike Everidge there, they're liking what they're seeing because they know those guys are burning their tires up running side by side. That is one thing with this track. If you run side by side, that guy on the bottom is burning his tires up fast, and you're going to start seeing him fall back through the field.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. As these guys are starting to kind of single file out. But yeah, you're right. The guys from 4th on back pretty much just saying, hey guys, go ahead, burn your stuff up. We're just gonna kind of ride back here, and when in 20-30 laps, when you got no tire left, well, we're gonna start making some moves.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking top 5 within 3/10 of each other right now. There's a huge draft pack racing right now. As you see the 66 of Ellsworth working his way on the bottom side of AJ DiMarzio there in 3 and 4. Couldn't quite get it done. See if we can clear here for 3rd place going into 1 and 2 this time by.
Yeah, and that 88 Nick Rader is really trying to get that lead back from 13 of George, as 66 of Ellsworth was able to make that pass. And he's having himself a good little race so far, Mike. He's up 3 spots from the start.
Yeah, it looks like he's not pushing the truck too much right now, and I think that's probably the same thing as Nick Rader is doing. Is he's running the high side here. He's not trying to work that bottom lane, right this minute. See if he tries to cross over here. No, he's going to tuck back in on the line. He's probably just letting William Roberts just hopefully burn his tires up is probably his strategy at this point in the race.
Right, and I mean nine laps into an 80-lap race. I don't need to press the issue just yet. Where we know that we need to see at least one pit stop out of these guys here tonight. So, no need to go out and jockey, especially for the lead. I mean, flip flop back and forth for the lead. I mean, really doesn't benefit you. In fact, all it does is hurt you by burning your tires up. As you see, the top. I want to say, just about everybody is now single file.
Yeah, they're not going to have a problem with tire sets here tonight. They've got plenty of tires, and the way they're running right now, the first four kind of grouped up really close together. Then you got another pack of three, and then you got some that are still hanging on to the draft, and they may be saving a little tire lifting a little bit in 3 and 4 for now, and you might see them charge to the front here later on in the run.
Yeah, absolutely. As we take a little bit, back through the field a little bit. The biggest, challenge right now is for that. I believe it's for the 5th position right now, between William George, Jonathan Aropolo, and Mike Everidge is in on the action as well. Yeah,
Jonathan Aropolo is kind of falling back here, and I'm wondering if he burned his tires up, or maybe he's just, like, hey guys, y'all go ahead and battle it out. I'm gonna sit right here and wait for my opportunity to strike, because he's got the speed. He's set on the pole here, so I expect to see more of him probably a little later on in the race tonight.
Yeah, I think if I'm that 10 truck, the racing's tight. It's clean so far, but I don't know if it's going to stay that way. So if I'm that 10 truck, I'm still pretty happy, sitting back, 6th, 7th, even 8th, somewhere, keep it somewhere mid-pack. That way, if there is an incident up ahead, you probably can avoid it, and you're going to gain a lot of positions that way.
Yeah, I'm just looking through the field here now, and, looking at Ernest King. We talked about him earlier. He's battling right now for that 10th position. Looks like he's just riding around, and another guy we talk about it on a weekly basis, Andrew Hefner, is sitting back in 11th right now. So these guys have probably got a strategy, and they're letting it play as there's contact there between
yes.
Ernest King and the number 7 of Robert DuPont there.
Yeah, a little bit of contact as they come through the tri-oval there, and both guys were able to keep it under control. And I don't think it really translated into much damage for either guy. We'll have to keep an eye on that as this race progresses. But it's interesting enough that we look back up to the front here, and the 88 Nick Rader and the 13 William George starting to pull away slightly on 3rd place, which is Caleb Ellswick. As we see Nick Rader now looking in the inside of William Roberts, try to take that lead over.
Yeah, I think he's just choosing to run that lower line right now, and the 13 of Roberts is staying a little higher. The theory here is if you stay a little higher, you're going to save a little bit of tire. And with them two tucking together like that, they're going to be able to gap as long as they run close together. And as you saw, Rader is not really pushing right now, trying to get that lead. But going back to that contact, I'm hoping it's not a lot of contact there, because that's one thing with these tracks, aero, and then especially the troublesome area on these tracks, these style tracks, is that tri-oval, trying to get two trucks side by side through there.
Yeah, absolutely. As that's your biggest, I guess pucker part of the track is just trying to get through the tri-oval. Really, we see it, especially the cookie cutter quad ovals is very difficult. Charlotte, Atlanta, Texas tracks like that, but you can't underestimate a track like Vegas here, because that the driver running the low line can get below that white line, and I mean that's an okay racing surface, but it's important to note, Mike, that if you're on the outside of that guy, you do not have to let him back onto the racetrack. So I don't know if we'll see any of that. We typically don't see too much of it, but that is important to note. Yeah,
it's important to note, and as you mentioned, all these tracks are They carry a lot of the same qualities, but there's some little distinctions between each and every one of them. Especially like when you look somewhere at Texas, since they redid that track, turn one is a whole lot deeper now than it was. But this track at Charlotte remind me so much of each other, but there's little subtle differences with the racing lines here in Charlotte. Here 1 and 2 is a little bit easier to get through. 3 and 4, both tracks have like a little small groove in the bottom that if you can successfully get that truck in and carry the momentum, which is going to be key, then you'll have good success tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. As you see, that's the gap between second and third right now. Pretty decent gap, forming almost a second gap between. And we're gonna see this probably steadily increase, because I think Roberts and Rader are actually doing a pretty good job at saving their tires. And I think Ellsworth's not doing too bad of a job either. He kind of got up through the field pretty quick, and he's actually going to try to grab onto the draft of Nick Rader here. But these top three guys, I expect them to start slowly pulling away.
Yeah, Ellswick has been able to separate himself from fourth, and he's going to catch this draft. That's why I was wondering earlier, watching him run and watching the other guys side by side, he was just sitting back there saving his tires, looking for this opportunity. If this stays green, you may see him out in the front here in the next 15, 20 laps.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to really catch that group really quick, being able to hook up with the draft of the 88 there. And I mean, he's I'd be interested to see if these guys will kind of just form a chain, try to pull away from that second group, with William George, AJ DeMarzo, and Mike Everidge. I think that would be probably a smart play. Kind of separate yourselves, work together now, and then go to work at the end of this thing.
Yeah, and looking at the 66 machine, he's able to really seems like he's able to rotate the corners really well. It doesn't look like the truck is pushing too much. Just to line through 3 and 4, he's not really sliding up high. I kind of want to take a look on board to see how tight his truck is looking there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, while we're talking about it, let's do that. Let's jump on board with the 66 and take a lap around here.
Yeah, as he's coming in 3 and 4 here, he's lifting early there.
Yeah,
Doesn't look like he's got a lot of rotation in the steering wheel, and he's able to keep it low, so it doesn't look like he's burning the tires up much at all.
No, I would say he's actually doing a pretty stellar job. And I mean, in the same thing through 1 and 2, fighting the wheel a little more than he would in 3 and 4, but very small input, I would say, which is the key to saving your tires.
Yeah, he's doing a good job now, and that's one thing that's going to change is with that lift point is going to go further and further and further back longer as the run goes on. Just see how well he's able to maintain that, because you burn up your fronts on entry and you burn up your rears on exit. So, that's something they'll definitely look at, these guys, when they get done with this run, is that when they come through the pits, they're going to look at their tires. Okay, did I push it too hard? Did I not push it enough? And that'll kind of set them up for that second run. Or some of these guys might wait till 10 to go and really push the envelope here. But as you mentioned, that undercut may come into effect because, older tires, newer tires are going to be a lot faster per lap.
Yeah, I mean that's really what's going to dictate the end of this race. I think does somebody try to undercut? Because if nobody undercuts, and you come down with 10 to go, I mean it's hammer time really. I mean there's no point of saving anything with 10 laps to go. But I mean I can't help but wonder, and especially we're already 26 coming on 27 laps into this race already, Mike. Guys are going to start thinking about that undercut, even though, we are early in the window here. But I would definitely start thinking about, hey, if I'm running, in the top 5, I mean, I think I definitely want to undercut.
Yeah, and that's going to be the hard part about it. You want to be out front right now. But as a leader, you're kind of sitting at a disadvantage because these guys are going to pit and you're going to have to make that decision pretty quick. How long do I want to stay out? Because you know they're going to be faster than you. And the longer you stay out, the more time you're losing. But on the other hand, if you're able to stay out longer, then your tires are going to be fresher towards the end. So it's kind of a fine balance there. And once you make that decision, you kind of, as the old saying goes, you make your bed, you got to sleep in it. So, I'm curious to see, if anybody comes halfway, if anybody waits, or just a minor undercut, or how this is going to play out here.
Yeah, I would think, if I'm the 13 right now, and let's say, the 88 pits, I mean, I want to go probably stay out maybe 2 laps and then go give myself a little bit of an advantage with 2-lap fresher tires, but I wouldn't push the envelope much further than that.
Yeah, and look, talking about the 13, William Roberts is able now to separate himself. If he can break this draft here, he may be a good advantage here, coming up in a few laps. Looks like the 66 of Ellsworth is going to be challenging here for second, coming into 1 and 2, trying to take that spot away from Nick Radar on the inside.
Yeah, I mean, good run going into the corner, but I'll tell you what, Nick Rader was able to close the door running that high line and say, you know what, it's not time for that yet.
Yeah, the hard part 1 and 2 here is if you enter it, the corner, kind of the middle to lower lane, you got to scrub off more speed, especially towards the center. The truck's going to start pushing up, and that'll give that advantage to the outside lane. If you can find that balance of getting it in and able to rotate the center and get under normal exit, it would be the place to really, you're going to make that pass on exit here.
Yeah, absolutely. And while we have a quick moment, a little break in the action, I want to remind everybody out there, in about a week's time, we got a giveaway coming up. Butt Kicker Gamer 2, we're going to give one away. All you have to do to get entered is head on over to Evolution Racing Network on Facebook. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not already. That's where you'll catch these guys every week. And share out the stream and just leave us a comment. It doesn't matter what it is. Carlos Ramos already left a little comment in there. Can't be with these guys racing tonight. He's usually out there in the field. So Carlos, probably without knowing it, you entered yourself for a chance to win the butt kicker. So good giveaway we got coming up here in about a week. We'll be announcing the actual date, I believe 2 days time. So pretty cool giveaway we got, Mike, coming up to win a pretty neat piece of equipment. I know we both have one, and they're pretty fun.
Yeah, they kind of bring the experience to a whole new level. Just being able to feel the RPMs, being able to feel the bumps, it just carries it to that, as you could say, third dimension there. But looking right on track right now, fastest truck last couple laps by is the 82 machine of Mike Everidge. He's making a little bit of gain up towards the front here, so looks like he saved some tires and he's able to take advantage of it here. Just curious, how many laps is it going to take him, to catch up, and with the pit strategy, how this, is he going to come early, or he's probably thinking long run here, saving a little bit of tire.
If it was me behind the wheel, that's what would be going through my head. Save as much tire as I possibly can. We're 34 laps into this race. Everything's kind of spread out. We haven't seen any cautions. I think you have to be thinking long run right now, and trying to get the most out of those tires, so that way, if you decide to short pit, if you decide to stay out, you could at least be putting down some semi-good laps, without having too much tire wear.
Yeah, and looking right now at the leader, William Roberts, he's found something here. He's on another planet. He's in another race right now. It's just, he's building a gap. He's got a gap of 1.10, so he's broke the draft already, and he's pulling away. His times are 32.25, seconds 32.39, third 32.34, and average ran a 32.37. The fastest last time by was Andrew Hefner with a 32.808, but he's 2 seconds behind the leader right now.
Right. I mean, this is where it's going to get interesting, because now, the 13, he's out by himself, And the only way that these two guys, the 66 and the 88, are going to catch him is by like literally bump drafting each other, honestly, because they're not going to be able to catch the draft off of the back end of the 13 because of the gap. And, I'm, curious as we look back at them. I mean, these guys are swapping that second spot, a couple of times here. So that's definitely not going to help. But these guys do sit in the prime position, honestly, Mike, if they want to go for the undercut, say in 20 laps or so, they would actually be right in the prime position.
Well, don't look now. Here comes the 46 of Andrew Hefner. He is moving through the field right now. As we just mentioned, he ran a 32.18 to the leader's 32.47. He's 2.5, 3/10 faster a lap right now. He's running that middle groove, and he is just gaining and gaining and gaining every lap. So he's done a really good job here. He set back early. Just ran his laps, and now he's picking his way up to the front.
Yeah, and we do have our first taker down on pit road is the 5 truck, AJ DeMarzo, on his way down for his pit stop a little bit earlier than what I would think. Not sure if it's a scheduled stop or not, but, I want to talk about Andrew Hefner. I mean, he is just lighting up the time charts right now.
As you see the leader now coming down pit road.
Yeah, our race leader, and he almost loses it, Mike, coming onto pit road, was able to, I'll be curious to see if he was able to get that truck slowed down enough, as, it is starting to get pretty, I don't want to say pretty busy, but we've got William Roberts, our leader right now on pit road, and the 8 truck of Robert McMillan, as the 13 of Roberts slides through the box. And I'll tell you what, Mike, that is a race killer right there.
That is, and also up front running that Caleb Ellsworth, your leader, who cycled up after that pit stop. Now the 46 of Hefner has just taken the lead. So as we mentioned, he's on a move right now, and the 66 is going to have the draft off of him, but that's an unfortunate break for William Roberts. That just, kills your night, and hopefully he can rebound and gain some positions back. I've personally done it too many times, slide through pit road or just a mistake on pit road, and, you have everything set, and just one little small thing, it can kind of ruin your night.
Yeah. Now, the question is, if you're 46 and a 66, when do you make your move? Do you go together? I think you probably should, or at least you might want to. If you're the 66, you might even want to try to undercut here, but looks like they're going to stay out for another lap. So we're going to have to see when these guys decide to bring it on down.
Yeah, I'm expecting the 46 of Hefner to stay out as long as he can. With the amount of tires and the speed he's holding now. Pitting right now, I think, would probably just counteract everything he did already to get him to this position. He determined early he was going to, looks like, save tires. He's the fastest truck, 39, 40 laps into the run. So I expect him to stay out for, maybe he's going to push it to the edge and get everything he can out. Try to build a big enough lead that he can get on pit road and get off pit road comfortably and still maintain that lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's very doable. You see, he's just pulling away from the 66 right now. I would expect to see the 66 come down at any time now, because the way that Andrew's running almost over 0.3 of a second faster on that last lap. And I was correct for a change. The 66 is on pit road. So, besides the 444, Peter Harborough, and he's on pit road now. So Andrew Hefner is your only truck that has not pit.
Well, looking at the times, last time by he was 32.18. William Roberts, which is the leader that pitted before, don't count him out yet. He's going to be cycled up, looks like to second. His interval is about 31 seconds, and he's running a 30.85 to a 32.18 in the leader, which Hefner is coming now on pit road, so I was wrong on that strategy as well. but that's should cycle William Roberts back up to the lead here.
Yeah, it really should. And depending on how quick he could, Andrew could get on and off pit road. I mean, if he could come out and be say right behind Andrew or somewhat close to him, it's really going to be huge for Andrew. Being he's going to have significantly fresher tires.
And actually, he looks like he is gonna be able to get on and off of pit road. Right now, as he's coming off pit road, it's a gap. Oh, as William Roberts just goes by him right there. So he's gonna have to make up some ground here, but he built a pretty good gap there. So let's see how close, got 34, 35 laps left. You saw him really push the burners there, 32 in. He might have to push it a little bit earlier here to see what happens, but I'm sure those guys have analyzed their tire data and they're waiting for their crew chief to tell them how much more they could push it, or do they have to lay back a little bit more.
Right, and here's something that he would Andrew wants to see right now: a three-way battle for the lead between the 5 of AJ DiMarzio, the 13 William Roberts, and the 88 of Nick Rader. This is what you want to see if you're that 46. Let these guys battle it out, because they're burning their tires up. Andrew did an incredible job of saving in that first pit run right there, and if you're the 46, this is what you want to see right here.
Yeah, you got a good battle going up for the lead here. It looks like DiMarzio was gonna have the advantage going into 1, but with the help of the 88, if he stays on the high side, 13's gonna have the advantage down the backstretch. This is what sets up that side-by-side racing, because the advantage just shifts from corner to straightaway, corner to straightaway, corner to straightaway. And as a driver, you have to make up your mind, okay, is it really worth me burning my tires up to try to get this position now, or do I just let him go? But right now, the 13, he's going to probably get freight trained on the inside. When AJ gets by, I expect Rader to follow, but Rader backs up a little bit. He might be trying to, okay, I'm just going to draft these guys, let them battle it out, and I'll take advantage of it once they get done and my tires are better.
Looking at the 88, kind of how he's running, I think he really did take some notes from the 46 over that first run. Let these guys battle it out. I'm just going to hang back here. I'm going to save my tires, and in 20 laps, when you guys are, screaming for tires, I'm going to be in good shape, and I'm going to go ahead and grab that lead and, try to get myself my first win on the year here.
Yeah, there's door-to-door, racing right now for the lead, with AJ DiMarzio and William Roberts battling out, and they are door to door in every corner right now, doing a good job of keeping off each other, maintaining the momentum. So, but like you said, that 88 is just sitting back there licking his chops right now.
Yeah, and I mean, especially if these two were to get into each other, for any reason, I mean, that 88 would be right there to cash in. So I like what Nick's doing right now, just kind of hanging back and staying with them, staying in the draft, but letting these two guys, I mean, these guys, both of them, regardless if you're the 5 or the 13, you're definitely using more tire than you want to right now, being side by side.
Yeah, just having somebody beside you is not allowing you to use all the track, and that's the thing here is to keep that momentum. You've got to use every inch of that track. You want to be at the bottom in the middle of the corner, and you want to be able to go to the wall on the exit just to keep the miles per hour and the momentum up, and really bogging that truck down in the corner, carrying a little bit more speed than you really want to, which is, and you're overturning the front is close to contact there between the 13 and the 5. What a great job by both of them not to have any contact there.
That, Mike, is as close as you're going to get without turning a guy. I'll tell you what, I don't know if they rubbed fenders, but if they didn't, they were darn close, and great driving. And that, I think AJ definitely had to lift a little bit coming out of the corner, which is a huge momentum killer, and that allowed the 88 Nick Rader to get by.
Yeah, I suspect his truck probably got a little tight there running inside like that after quite a few laps. That's one thing. These trucks, especially at these mile and a halves that burn tires, they tend to get tighter over the longer run on tires. So that's where you start scrubbing off speed and your times fall. And that's why we were able to see Andrew Hefner get such a run earlier, just able to save enough tire to give it up in the beginning to have it at the end. So, you know, these guys, but I'm like you with the, 13, William Roberts out front again. 88's going to be on riding on his draft as we saw him do earlier. I'm interested to see if he, last time he kind of lost William, but see if he's going to have the advantage this time or not, because he was battling side by side for the lead.
Right. I mean, if I'm the 88, I'm just cruising now. I mean, we got 26 to go. You know that chances are you got better tires than the 13. You're just kind of waiting on your time to pounce, and you gotta know that 46, he's not up here yet, but give it some time. I mean, there's still a lot of racing left here. I'd be worried about that 46 doing what he did in that first run, this time around, making a charge with, 10, 15 laps to go and getting up here to race with these guys.
Yeah, I'm looking at Andrew's times right now, just curious, watching him. He's running an average time, so every lap is about the same time. He's running about a 31.4, 31.5. The leaders were running, 30.9s. Now they're creeping up. Now they're in the 31.3s. So he's maintaining consistency. He's losing a little bit of time here, the last 10, 15 laps. But I'm curious to see their times are now creeping up to that time by he ran a 31.55, leader ran a 31.47. So they're losing time each lap, and he's just maintaining a consistent lap. So this may turn out to be a really, really interesting finish as, the laps are winding down, and he is now about 6.7 seconds back. So,
yeah, very, very interested to see, what's going to happen, and, Mike, we're under our 25 laps to go, and everybody knows if you haven't tuned in the ERN broadcast, usually with around 25 laps to go, we up here in the booth like to pick our winners. So, Mike, I'm going to go ahead and, you know what? I like what he did in that first run. I'm picking the 46 of Andrew Hefner to win this race.
well, I am going to pick a guy. I cannot say his name. Not going to do it. I think he's in a good position here. The 46 and 82 are running together. That's helping both of them. So I think the 82 probably learned something the first run. It's going to be tight, but I'm going to stick to that guy. I don't want to mention his name. So
okay, well, if you've tuned in on Tuesday nights with us, you should know who that guy is. We won't mention his name. We'll give it away at the end of the race. But right now, it's a super secret pick unless you've tuned in to our broadcast before. And we're gonna have to see 21 laps to go. William Roberts starting to build a small lead, about a half second gap over the 88 of Nick Rader, running third AJ DeMarzo, and fourth Caleb Ellsworth. These are all guys still in contention, I think, with about 15, maybe 12 or 13 laps, somewhere in that window. If you're the guys that are running back third, fourth, fifth, that's when it's time to turn on the jet fuel and try to get up to the front, because you need that amount of time to get up here and try to win this thing.
yeah, with the 46 of Hefner and 82 of Everidge running right there together, they're drafting. They're going to make quicker times here. So that's also going to help your pick, the 46 of Andrew Hefner, and with Everidge right there with him, and just take a look at the times that we mentioned earlier. Hefner with a 31.89, Everidge with a 31.85 to your leaders 31.82. Second of Radar was a 32.06, and AJ ran a 31.89. Actually, last time by, Caleb Ellswick in the fourth position ran a 31.53, so he's 2 to 3 tenths quicker right now.
Yeah, he is. And if you're the 46, you want to try to get to the back door of that 66 and try to use him. But I mean, it's a pretty sizable gap between the two. So, if you're Andrew Hefner, you really need Mike Everidge to get on the back and try to start pushing around this racetrack to catch the group in front of you.
Yeah, and this time by, you'll be at 17 to go. So Right now's the time. If you got the tires, start using them. You're gonna have to make up as much time as you can now, because this is another track. As we mentioned week after week, getting to them and getting by them is two different things. As we saw trucks running side by side for 5 or 10 laps, they're battling it out for the lead position earlier in the run.
Right, and we just missed the 66. Caleb Ellsworth was able to make a pass on the 5 of AJ DeMarzo. That's going to be for your final podium spot there, Mike. That's for third.
That's for third, and his time's looking, even with the pass, he was a tenth and a half, almost 2 tenths quicker last time by than the leader. So I'm gonna look at the times this time by to see the gap difference, see if he's still the fastest truck in the field. Waiting for the times post now.
I mean, I'm looking at him and Andrew Hefner basically ran identical times, but they were your two fastest trucks out on the track that last lap. So these guys are coming.
Yeah, they're coming, and that now, as we mentioned, to kick the afterburner in, is you see the 66 Ellswick just close in lap by lap on Nick Ritter here in the second position.
Yeah, you know what? And if I'm the 13, man, I'm starting to shake in my boots a little bit. Yeah, I got a big lead, but I know that I burned some tire up, and in 5 to 10 laps, I think we're really going to see a pretty big fall off from that 13.
Yeah, and your spotter and your crew chief right now are telling you, okay, these two trucks are the two that are coming. These are the lap times. These are the difference in the laps. If you got anything left, you're gonna have to try to find it here, because he's closing here. As the 66 is gonna challenge Nick Ritter for second here on the inside, and he's gonna take it here coming through 1 and 2. So he's got the momentum right now.
I'll tell you what, that 66 did exactly what he needed to do. Do not prolong the pass. Get around that 88 as quick as you can. And now he's got his sights set on that 13 truck, and he's going to try to go out, get around him. I mean, he's got 13 laps to close a 2.2 second gap. And, I mean, it's definitely doable right now.
And for all the viewers, that was just a prime example of great respect within the league with the 88 and the 66. The 88 probably looked at the relative, knew he was a lot faster than him. Just respectful, because hey, next week it could be the opposite way around. So that was a good show of sportsmanship there.
Yeah, it sure was. And I mean, this 66 is on a mission right now. He's got 12 laps, isn't really closing the gap. I mean, last time by, actually, William Roberts ran a very, very small hair quicker lap. So if you're that 66, you want to be, in the 1 to 2 tenths of a second quicker lap times than the 13. And you want to try to start doing it now so you could get hooked up with his draft and pull yourself up there.
I'm wondering if that pass had anything to affect with it. As that time by, they were difference of 0.03, and the difference was in William Roberts there. And Mike Everidge right now is your fastest truck on the track with a 31.86. So he's coming, but I don't know if he's going to have enough time here with 11 laps to go.
Yeah, it's gonna be close. Mike Everidge wants to get up there. And looking at about about 4 seconds really for him to get up there, and that'll be pretty tight. But if you're a 66 right now of Ellswick, I mean, you're driving this thing. 10 laps to go. There's no point of leaving anything out on the track. I mean, it is go time. 10 to go. It's time to start going. You need to start closing the door on the 13.
Yeah, he's trying to close the door here. I'm gonna look at the lap time. That time a 31.93 to a 32.06. So about a little bit over a tenth, almost a tenth and a half quicker that time by. So it looks like he's turning on the jets now. Maybe he's timed it, knows exactly how long he needs to get there. So this may turn out to be really, really close finish here.
Yeah, it sure is. So don't go anywhere, folks. I mean, we're going to keep you right here to the conclusion of this thing. And I mean, if you're just tuning in, we've gone 71 laps, caution free. Not a single caution in this race. We've seen green flag stops at around, anywhere between lap 38 and 44. Some guys working, a little bit better lap times as far as pitch strategy goes. And that's important to note, Mike, that when we're talking about pits, the 66 at Ellsworth pitted 5 laps after the 13, so he's got the freshest tires up out of anybody right now.
Yeah, he's got the freshest tires right now. Out of the top, well, Hefner is the freshest on track. It looks like Hefner now is in the 5th. Average has gotten by him, but I'm curious to see. I don't think Average is going to have enough time and Hefner to get all the way to the front, but they may be able to get some podium positions out of it here. As quick rundown: William Roberts is your leader. Caleb Ellswick in the number 66 is running second. Nick Radar is your 3rd place driver right now. 4th is occupied by Mike Everidge in the number 82. 5th is the 46 Andrew Hefner. 6th is AJ DiMarzio. 7th is William George. 8th is George Rincon. 9th is Peter Harbor. 10th is Ernest King. 11th is Robert McMillan. 12th is Jonathan Aropolo. 13th is David Connell. And 14th is Robert DuPont.
And this is gonna be close. I mean, we are 5 laps to go, Mike, and Ellswick's got that lead down to about a second, and he is coming.
Yeah, he took off 3/10 last lap alone. So you see this time by where they're running, it's a 32.40 to a 31.91. So he's almost 5/10 fast, a half a second faster last time by. He's gaining. He's got it down to 0.6765 right now. So he's coming hard right now.
He's coming hard, and he's coming hard at the right time. As when they cross the line, we're going to have 3 laps to go here. And, I mean, he could get there. We're pretty confident, but can he get around that 13? I think he's got the tires. He definitely shown that he's got the skill to come up through the field. And we'll see, does the 13 go on the defensive? If they get side by side, we're going to have to see. I think we're going to find out here in about a lap.
Yeah, we're going to find out here in about a lap. And the real question is, was the 13 holding anything back? Because if the 66 is half a second faster, he's going to be able to carry more speed through the corners here. As he's going to get side, they're almost going to be side by side as they come in the trioval here. 66 is going to be inside with a huge head of steam here. He's probably going to clear him going into 1 here for the lead. The 66 of Caleb Ellswick is now going to secure the lead. 13 is going to battle back on the outside. May get a run down the backstretch as this battle is going to continue down the turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, 2 to go as they come out of the turn 3 and 4 this time by, Mike. They're going to take the white flag, and Ellswick is able to pull away from the 13 of William Roberts coming out of turn number 4. White flag in the air. Caleb Ellswick, you don't have to lead the most laps. The most important lap is the final lap, and Caleb Ellswick looks like, as barring anything crazy here, he's going to grab his first victory of the year, Mike.
Yeah, and Mike Average has capitalized on that 3rd position. Hefner has moved up to 4th. Nick Radar is back to 5th now, so those guys were also able to capitalize. But the last time through 3 and 4, the number 66 of Caleb Ellswick is going to bring it home in victory lane here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway tonight in the 3-wide racing leagues.
He sure will, and we're going to have William Roberts, really good run, led a lot of laps in this thing. He'll come home second. Mike Everidge, good run at the end there. He's going to come home in 3rd for your final podium finish. And I'll tell you what, I am impressed by this 66 team here tonight, Mike. These guys, only a couple of weeks in this league, and I'll tell you what, they put a winning formula out there this week and executed it to perfection.
Yeah, just to watch the first run, we knew he was kind of hanging back there. you saw the 46 of Hefner get by, and then the second run, it's like Caleb Ellswick learned something valuable in the first run and just saved enough tire, laid him down and cut the burner zone at the right spot. One lap to go, and he makes the pass for the lead to take the victory. As you said, you don't have to lead them all, but he led the most important.
He led the most important lap you could lead in the race, and that is the last one, as Caleb Ellswick is not taking that motor with him next week to Eldora. He's going to burn that thing down, Las Vegas. And I'll tell you what, Mike, there is nobody more deserving out there than that 66 team, as they're going to do a little Polish victory lap here. And we're going to round up the boys. We're going to talk to the top three after a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere, because I'll tell you what, Mike, I'm excited to hear from that 66 team. So
I am too.
Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, your top three interviews.
I started Folds of Honor above my garage 13 years ago because 90% of spouses and children of killed or disabled U.S. service members receive no federal education assistance. Our mission has never wavered. We honor their sacrifices by educating their legacy.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Thank you for supporting the Fold of Honor.
Thanks to you, I will be a construction engineer.
An elementary school teacher.
Thank you for helping me fulfill my dream of going to med school.
We're able to award these scholarships because patriots like you refuse to turn your back on the cost of freedom. Join the Folds of Honor Squadron today. Your $13 a month will help ensure we never turn military families away. This is your call to duty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Thanks to people like you, I know my dad is not forgotten.
Welcome back, race fans, to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where we just seen Caleb Ellswick in the 66 walk away with basically a last lap pass to secure his first win on the year. And we're going to jump right into things here. Coming home in third tonight, the 82, Michael Sheffield. I do believe you have Mike Everidge.
Hey, Mike, this is Steve and Michael up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, great podium finish for you tonight here. I watched you early, running top 5 there, 4th, 5th. And, I was wondering, if tire strategy was going to play out here tonight for anybody. How did the truck feel tonight, and what seemed to work for you really well here tonight?
The truck felt great, but I think it did for everybody. It was, you could drive it really hard early on, but you pay for it in the end. And that first 40 laps, I felt it. I started falling off there before that first pit stop. So I changed my strategy a little bit. If you saw the 46 early on, he was running everybody down, and he and I hooked up in that second half, and we just worked together, and I pushed him for most of the way, and then he caught the wall there, and I got around him, and then he just kept pushing me. But it was basically tire strategy is what helped us out there at the end.
Yeah, we watched the 46 during the first run there, and I was one in the beginning. If anybody was going to lay back and try to save a little tire, and we watched him run through, and we saw him get by you there in the first run, and then the second run, we and Steve were talking, and we were like, well, you got the 46 of Hefner, who we know is saving tires, and we saw the 80, your 82 machine behind him. So they're going to draft, they're going to be able to run better laps together, and then we see you charging there up towards the front. I was watching lap times, and great call on adjustment there tonight, but looking forward to next week. Got Eldor. How do you feel about Eldor?
Oh, we'll see. Eldor it's a tough track, man. You gotta the grip is on the very outside of the track going through the corners. You gotta get those right rear tire up into that stuff, and you're putting your fender inches from that wall. So it's just how close can you put it up there without getting into it. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out next week.
Well, I wish you best of luck next week. You got to be better. You know what you're doing more in dirt than I do. I'm horrible at dirt, but you're going to give you the microphone here, give you your chance to give you a shout out, your thank yous to anybody you want. The microphone's all yours.
Well, first of all, thanks to ERN for the broadcast you guys do for us. Obviously, thanks to DeMarza Gears for being our sponsor and supporting us there. And I do want to thank George Rincon, who's my sidekick in this league, helps me run it, as well as Ernest King, who does a great job of helping us with this stuff too. Also, Nick Radar, he puts on a lot of practice sessions for us, and I can't thank him enough for that.
Well,
that's it.
Great run tonight, bringing home the podium finish there, Mike. Hopefully we get a chance to talk to you next week and some more further into the season here. Hopefully we get to talk to you in victory lane here before the season's over with.
All right, fellas. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, that was third place finisher tonight, the 82 Mike Evers. I'll tell you what, Mike, that 82 team has really picked up a lot of steam this towards the middle part of this schedule. We keep seeing hear from them week after week, whether be a podium finish, second place finish. I think his time's coming. We're going to be calling on that 82 in victory lane.
Yeah, and I expect to see it. And as I mentioned earlier, everyone he mentioned it there in his interview. Everyone watched what Andrew Hefner was able to do during that first run. And a lot of people adjusted off that first run, tried to save a little bit of tire there. So that's why you were seeing a little better times, I think, for everybody there, towards the end of the run there at the finals. Checker flag.
Absolutely. Well, let's bring him on in. Our second place finisher tonight just didn't have enough to get it through. He led a lot of this race, 13 William Roberts. Hey, Will, Steve, and Michael up in the year-end booth. You got a copy? Yeah, we got you, Will. Hey, man, great race tonight. You found yourself out there, pretty much, led a good portion of this race. Walk us through after that first pit stop. You and the 88 and Nick Rader, kind of side by side for a couple laps there. Did that really determine the end of this race? Do you feel like you might have burned a little more tire when you guys were locked in that battle?
I feel like that was a lot of it because I was running him really hard on the outside. Yeah, whether it was him or AJ, I can't remember, but one of the two. But and then I slid through the pit box on my pit stop too, which I felt kind of negated the advantage of short pitting and getting me the gap I needed. But yeah, I definitely, whether it was burning off the tire racing AJ or the time lost running side by side, between the two, that definitely probably ended up being the time difference there. I feel like.
Yeah, we did see Slide the Box, during that pit stop, and I know that from your end, I mean that's something that you feel maybe hurt you, but I'll tell you what, to slide a box like that and to still lead the back end of the race, the way you did is super impressive, and changing gears now. Next week we're gonna sling some mud down in Eldora. I mean this is gonna be should be a fun race. I mean how do you feel about putting a stock car out there on a dirt track?
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty tough. I've run a little bit of dirt stuff, but yeah, definitely gonna have to put the practice laps in for that one, and just pay attention to the line and go where the shiny stuff ain't. And see what we can do. Yeah, it should be a good time. Hopefully qualify well and try to get out in front of these guys and not have to worry about it. That's going to be the game plan.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like a good one to me. But before we let you go, enjoy a good runner-up position tonight, even though I know you wanted to walk away with the win. You want to give any shout-outs?
Yeah, definitely wanted to win. Kind of disappointed. But, everyone who makes this happen and then, throws the dollars down, appreciate them guys. And all the RKR guys, too. Wish they could have got a little bit better finishes, but it seems like everybody run good. So, pulling for them guys next week, too.
All right, well, we're going to let you go ahead and enjoy this second place finish, and we'll see if we can't catch up with you next week on the dirt in Eldora.
All right, hope to talk to you guys soon.
All right, Mike, that is your second place finisher tonight. 13, William Roberts. You could hear a little bit of the defeat, in his voice. Knew he had a good truck. Was disappointed about the pit stop and being locked in a battle. But I'll tell you what, this is a truck. He's been up there, consistently week in and week out. I think he's another guy where his time's just around the corner.
Yeah, and I mean, talking to him, you heard him say, mention about burning the tires up in pit road. It's a learning experience for him, but I'm going to tell you, to do what he did on pit road, slide through the box, and to lead the back half of that race and it come down to the final lap, that's one heck of a recovery from a slide on pit road. And, the key thing is every race, like this, I've had quite a few second place finishes myself here lately. You learn from everything, and the next time you hit the track, you try not to make those same mistakes again.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I mean, that's something where he's got to try to look at that as a positive, to slide the box and still be able to really, lead the every lap except for, basically the last one. That's, definitely important. But without further ado, let's talk about the guy who was able to lead that last lap, Mike. I know you want to talk to him. I want to hear from him. And I do believe you have the 66-year race winner, Caleb Ellsworth.
Hey, Caleb, this is Michael and Steve up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, guys.
Well, first of all, congratulations on that run here tonight. We watched you on the very first half of the race. I watched you front top 4, top 5. Figured maybe a little bit of tire saving going on. You came in the pits, great job on the pit there. You're able to come out, you save tire, you cut the burners on at the right time. And I mean, I was watching lap times, lap after lap after lap, and you just sailed it in there. Towards the end, your times were half a second quicker, with 5 to go. So how was the truck tonight, and what was the key factor for you here tonight?
So, I mean, the Ellsworth Motorsports 66 truck was pretty good. We put a lot of laps in this truck this week, working with the RKR guys. They've been helping out a ton, helping me. I'm newer in this group, just to continue to grow and get more of a respect with these guys. So it was a good run. At the beginning of it, I thought it was going to be a little bit of we'd have at least a caution or something. So I was a little concerned on how well the tires would last towards the end of the run. But I felt if I could stay in their draft for a while, I'd be pretty good. The 46 shocked me with how he saved his tires. I'll take it as a blessing. I was able to run with him for a couple more laps to stay out. That gave me a little bit more fresher tires towards the end. And I think I just took his kind of aspect of it, and I just started running half throttle through the turns after I got out of the pit road and just hoped for the best. My goal was to get a podium, to be only a part of this group for about 4 weeks, and normally run about 6th or 8th is where I've been finishing. To come out here with just a podium was my goal. I'm just here to try to learn and gain the most respect I can.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, you're the second person to mention the 46 at Hafner tonight. He really that gap he put in the first run there, being able to run up front, to come from the back towards the front, opened a lot of people's eyes, I believe, and you really capitalized on that lesson, during from the first stage and from one Virginia guy to another one. Congratulations once again on your win. Next week we change gears, go to Eldora. So how do you feel about Eldora on dirt with the trucks?
I think Eldora from all of us I could probably speak for about everybody, other than maybe the 46. I think he's going to have one of the trucks to beat there at dirt. I think he's about the only guy that's got dirt experience that I've been made aware of. We're not used to it. We're not used to dirt. I put about 100 laps in it already, and it's going to be a challenge. I mean, it's definitely going to be a perspective that, we've only got one fast repair, damage is on. So it's going to be a tough battle, just try to keep the fenders on it and be able to just, run and not destroy somebody. For me, I think I'm just going to try to, finish in the top 10 will be my goal. I don't want, I'm lower in the points. I don't want to take somebody else higher up out in points. So my goal is just to stay clean and stay away from the top guys and let them kind of do their thing and get back to it the week after.
Well, once again, great show tonight. You put on an impressive run there in the second half. Right now, we give you the microphone, give you a chance to give you a shout out, your thank yous to anybody you want. The microphone is all yours.
Good job, guys, in the ERN booth here. For y'all to come and broadcast this is pretty cool to see. The admins with Ernest and Mike, for them to allow me to join halfway through the season was a cool deal. All the guys in our group's very respectful. We're all pretty high class, so to kind of get that respect driving around the track with Nick and AJ was pretty cool to see. I know I'm not used to racing around them, so to be able to run that clean with them was really fun. Look forward to next week and hopefully try to get another top 5, top 10, and just keep our nose clean.
Well, that's one thing we did mention in the broadcast was the respect level in this league is probably one of the highest I've seen in our racing. And hopefully next couple of weeks we get a chance to talk to you again. You've really come in the league, like you said, halfway throughout the year. You made an impressive run, and that goes to enjoy your celebration with your victory there tonight.
Sure, thank you.
All right, that was Michael Sheffield with your race winner, the 66 of Caleb Ellsworth. And I'll tell you what, Mike, we've seen a lot of great racing this season so far from these guys. But I'll tell you what, that was one of the most impressive victories I think that we've been a part of. For that 66 to save the tire and make that lad, pass, coming to the white flag and being able to notch his first win after, only just a couple of races, shows that, that 66 team can run with the best of them.
Yeah, and as you heard two broadcasts there, I'm still just that run that he put on there at the end of 66 was reminiscent of the run Hefner put on the 46 in the very beginning run. And, as one tire saver watching Hefner do it, he's probably saying, I showed my hand a little too early. But, it is what it is. You come into the race, you set a goal. If he was able to get out there and maintain that lead, I think it'd have been a different story. But he got a little wall contact there from what Mike Everidge said there when they were running together. So still a good finish for him tonight in fourth place. So all in all, this league with the challenge and different types of races from road courses to mile and a halves to dirt tracks to back to road courses, I really enjoyed this, Steve. How about you?
Oh, this has been a wild ride, Mike. I'll tell you what, and it gets better. Next week we hit our first trip on the dirt, down to Eldora. I cannot wait to call it, and, in a week's time, and, it's going to be a lot of fun. But let's take a look tonight. Your official race results From Las Vegas Motor Speedway, walking away with the win. You just heard from him. 66, Caleb Ellsworth coming home second. 13, William Roberts. Third will be the 82 of Mike Everidge. That 46, Andrew Hefner, he's going to come home in fourth, but he had a fast truck tonight. And fifth will be the 88, Nick Rader. Sixth, your points leader, AJ DeMarzo, coming home. And seventh will be the 9 of William George. Mike, take us the rest of the way, pal.
Eighth will be George Rincon, number 28. Peter Harbor with a good run night comes home in the 444 and 9th position. Ernest King, the number 24, comes home 10th. 11th, the upholsterer Jonathan Rapolo in the number 10. 12th, Robert McMillan Jr. and the number 8. 13th is David Connell in the 64. And Robert Dupont in the number 7 brings it home 14th.
And that is your official race results for tonight's race here from Las Vegas. We want to give a big shout out to Marzo Gears, league sponsor for this 3-wide racing eSports league. Give them a look up if you need rear end for your race car or any kind of gear work. DeMarzo Gears, best in the business. And stay tuned, because in 2 nights' time, Thursday Night Throwdown Championship Edition from Homestead is going to be your ARCA series and the trucks. So tune in to that one. I do believe it's Homestead.
It is Homestead.
It is Homestead. All right. And that's going to be an exciting one. Tune in live right here, 8 o'clock Eastern for the ARCA, followed by the truck series right here on YouTube. Evolution Racing Network has your coverage for that championship race from Homestead in the Thursday Night Throwdown series. And for Michael Sheffield, I'm Steve Kerpel. We will see you right here next week from Eldora. Have a great night.